Hey, Wayne Fox, another eclectic video for me today. I tend to just video about things I'm interested in, or in this case, something that really bugs me. I have an Epson ff-640 scanner compared to the new ff-680 scanner that I bought. I don't know about you, but I have dozens of these boxes of photographs. These are 40 years old of my kids, and my parents have shoe boxes full of old photographs. And this little scanner is really designed to help with that because it really speeds up the process if you want to digitize those. And when I saw the new 680 come out, I thought, man, that's terrific because it's got some nice features in it compared to the 640. And I thought, I'm going to get one of those. And I bought it, set in this box for about a month and a half. Didn't get it out because I got sidetracked. Decided to pull it out and test it. And guess what? Don't buy this one. There are 2 or 3 things wrong with this. Unless I'll tell you what they are, and unless you're okay with it. Obviously, there's some nice features about it. It supposedly gives you Wi-Fi access, which you won't need to be by a computer. Maybe not quite as good as it should be. Speed-wise, they're pretty much the same. Scan quality-wise, this one's doing a better job, and I'll show you some samples. But the biggest problem is the fact that the way that it scans them and the order it scans them in is just really problematic. Now, typically, when I have a box of these, they're in this box in a particular order. They came out of an album, and so they're sequential about when they were taken. So I want to scan them in this same order. Now, if you scan in the 640, and this isn't a video about how to use these, by the way. This is a video about why you should probably buy this one, not this one. But I'm going to go ahead and scan some in the 640. So we'll pull out the tray. All right. So you take the pictures, you kind of make sure they're loose. You put them in face down. So the first picture in your stack is on the top. And you put them face down. And I don't know if that one went down. Let's get it. I think it's okay now. And I go over to the software and I say, okay, let's start scanning. Excuse me while I reach over here. And I got to put a bunch of stuff in. Close enough. And awesome, right? Bam, bam, bam. And this is what makes it so good. You can scan at 300 DPI at about 1 a second. And 300 DPI will give you an identical size print, which is hard to tell the difference. While it's doing it, it will scan the back if you want. So if you've got some information you wrote on there, you can say, well, scan the back at the same time. And it will actually do color restoration as well. So what you get is usually a bit better quality of a photograph. So great, that's all fine and good. So what's wrong with this one? Well, first of all, the Wi-Fi access requires WPS. Now, I don't know about you, but most of us are putting mesh internet routers in our house. I use the ones from Eero, and those don't support WPS. And there's a lot of routers out nowadays that don't support WPS. And so even though it's in there, it's really hard to use. I can't get it hooked up to my house unless I go buy some other router. And a lot of people don't know how to even use WPS. So unlike a printer where you can just plug into your network and turn on the wireless and hook it up, you're ready to go. For some reason, they think there needs to be some security with this because I guess somebody's going to get in there and steal something. But the problem is WPS, as everybody's finding out, isn't very secure because it's pretty easy to guess the PIN numbers anyway. So the biggest problem with it, though, it's really nice, but if I scan this same stack of pictures, I put them in this printer face forward. So each printer has 2 scan bars, one on the front, one on the back, and one of them is higher quality. One of them is just intended to scan the any printing or writing you've got on the back. So it's basically a document scanner quality. Well, this one has the photo quality scanner on the front. So if I put them in this way, that's all fine and good, but it still takes the back picture first. So it's scanning them out of order. So to use this scanner, I've got to do 2 things. First of all, I've got to scan from back to front in my box. No problem. But when I'm done, they're backwards. My first picture is 200 JPEG and my last picture is 1 JPEG. So they don't sort in order. And I can reverse sort them, but what if you've got hundreds of them? So the sequence doesn't really match the sequence you scan them in. And that's, to me, is the big problem. I figured out a way to go and reverse all those numbers, but why should I do that? I do not know why Epson thought that was a good idea. I'm pretty sure that the engineers never actually had a box of 7,000 snapshots that they were trying to get scanned in as fast as possible, understanding that there probably is some order to the way they're in the boxes. Yeah, some of them are just in big shoe boxes and it doesn't matter. But that's the biggest gripe I have with this one here, is that the order problem. And then there's one other gripe, and that's scan quality. So I'm going to go over to the computer and I'm going to bring up a couple of images scanned with both of these scanners and let you see which one you think is better. I think this one has a problem though. So let's head over to the computer. Thanks. So here I have the same image scanned with both images. The one on the left is scanned with a 680 and the one on the right is scanned with a 640. And the difference in contrast is pretty obvious. Now what was puzzling is this contrast difference wasn't on every photograph as I went through and tested a bunch. What I found out that if the photograph had any kind of a textured surface on it at all, I started getting this look, and the one on the right looks pretty much like the original. That contrast is about right. This picture here is not as old as the others. This is my grandson. He's a junior in high school now, or I guess he's a sophomore in high school now. So it's not as old. So I didn't have the restore, all the restore stuff turned on. So the contrast problem over here, if we start zooming in, let's take a look. And you can see that this kind of pattern I'm getting and how much more prevalent it is than the one on the right. So the 680 has a problem with reflections off the surface of a paper if there's any texture to it at all. Unlike the 640, who apparently the scanner system in it is better and the lighting system is better. And so I don't know why Epson changed the scanner characteristics, because to me they made it worse. And obviously having to scan them backwards is really not a great thing. For some people it doesn't matter. For some people like me, I've got probably 2,000 photographs and they're all in boxes and they're sequential from the beginning to the end in each box. And so I want to just scan them in an order, and I don't want to have to mess around reversing the numbers or realizing I have to look at them and sort them from back to front. You know, once I put them, because I have to get these in order before I import them into whatever, you know, iPhoto or Photos app or, you know, Google or wherever. Because once you put them there, those file numbers are going to be how they're displayed, the sequence. So sorry, Epson, I think you blew it. I assume that your engineers never actually tried to scan these. I just don't understand why you had a really good thing. Just you know, adding this was really nice. Yeah, that's great. But why you flip those scanners around the wrong way, I have no idea. But for what I need, this is a much better solution. This one here, I'm going to have to put it on eBay. I just can't live with the scan quality of my textured prints. The Wi-Fi is useless to me. I'd love to have it sitting in another room and not have to have the computer there, but I don't have the WPS functionality in my router like a lot of people. And the scans aren't as good. I mean, I don't know how that happened, because why in the world you just didn't use the same scan mechanism? There really wasn't anything wrong with it. So until you make a 690 and you fix those things, I'm sticking with this one. If you want to buy one, if you've got this, if you've got some needs like this out there, I would recommend that if you can find one of these, you stick with this one. Yeah, this isn't terrible, and I suppose you could do a little contrast adjustment on those and make them look better. But the problem is the contrast loss is from reflections off the surface. It's from glare off the top of the print. So anything with any texture on it at all, you're going to have a problem. Anyway, hopefully that can give you some ideas. I might do some more videos on how I actually use these. There's a few of them out there. I haven't really seen if any of them are like what I'm trying to do with mine. But if you've got a big project of scanning a lot of photos, it's a pretty good document scanner as well. You can scan a document really quick with it and save it as a PDF file. Pretty handy scanner. Well, that's it for this video. If you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button down there. I like making these and they're kind of fun. So anyway, see you next time.